these boats come up and will line up behind the pace boat.
Now 222 will be the closest to us. As we said before, the pace boat runs on the outside here. So Giovanni, I'm sure, is going to be just jumping to get going here. He does not mess around with the starts. It looks like a good lineup.
So we wait for the green flag.
DeFalco's trying to pull a little bit here. They're still not throwing the green.
They want some line back up again. Now they'll come forward. I throw that green flag, but the 222 is lagging behind. He's going to hold them again.
Everyone just passed the pace boat. They said this morning there's going to be a penalty for that. So let's see what happens here.
At this point, I wonder if he's going to make them restart. I mean, he's so far behind them. How do you start them at this point? He just threw the green flag.
He just threw it, and they're just starting their second boat. So, but that was ugly. There's no other way to put that. That was not a start that any of these guys wanted.
Looked like MCOM might have been the only boat in position there on that from our angle.
Yeah, but 222 is they're taking off. So let's see how it shakes out.
So your Class 1 boats are heading off for 14 laps, or check them again, 14 laps.
Yep.
62.72 miles.
The V Extremes will run one less lap at 13, and the Alone Extreme boat is going to run the same 14 laps as the Class 1s.
All right, so we follow our Class 1 boats now as they turn at 1. A 3-pin turn now beginning to head to eastbound. These are 47-foot boats for the most part, 47, 48-foot Victory hulls. And the team that won the UIM Class 1 Points Championship and is your reigning world champion, 222 Offshore, Darren Nicholson and Giovanni Carpatella, continue to just awe everyone here across the Key West spectator viewing area. And have the lead.
Heroes looks like.
There you go. Green flag, let's go.
So we're watching the start behind these boats. We're going to follow the Class 1 boats back into the harbor. And they've turned and now are heading northbound. So all of our boats have now started. We'll catch the VX and Extreme JBS when they come back. But here is your first place boat, 222 Offshore, doing what they've done all week long and leading here into Key West Harbor after lap number 1 of 14. In second, DF Young. And Monster Energy Imcon in third, DeFalco in fourth. Pothole Heroes charging up on the outside just behind DeFalco, but could have a race there into the corner.
Yeah, they did. Pothole was out doing a bunch of testing yesterday, so I would imagine whoa, this could get interesting.
Pothole Heroes on the outside there, that turn.
Yeah, they don't want to be
a lot of dirty water down there
up against those buoys or they near that seawall because of those rebound wakes. But Pothole Heroes is coming around, maintaining speed, going around the outside. They're the biggest boat in the fleet. So they got around DeFalco. Let's see if they got something for Monster Energy.
Yeah, we're behind your leader, 222 Offshore, Australian Navy.
Everyone's behind the leader.
Yeah, as they just check out, DF Young is in second behind them and already 8 seconds off the pace.
Now, Peter, you've been the dominant boat in a class. You've also chased the dominant.
Yeah.
What do you, when it's a season like that?
You know, you got to give it your best shot, and it's all about preparing, and you got to get the right propellers for the right day, and with a little luck, you'll end up on top. But nowadays, the competition is so close, it's hard to even judge what you're going to do.
Beautiful shot of the Monster Energy Imcon team. Just saw our lead boats come into the VX class. Team Farnsworth was right ahead of race-winning Brands. Running in second.
Bet JBS took a big rooster tail on Friday out there and shut both their motors down.
Yep.
Team 25.
Oh, just now?
Yeah.
They got everything cleaned out and it's running again.
As we look at DF Young, they're running in second overall.
Yep.
As they're right in front of the Monster Energy Imcon team.
And it was interesting when I talked to Darren Nicholson the other day, as we have the camera back on 222 Offshore, he said, I don't really drive the buoys. The buoys are there as my guide. I drive the waves, and we figure out the smoothest way around. So some guys just love the pin to pin to pin.
Yeah, they took a big wide turn out there and just got that speed going too.
48-foot victory hull with the twin 1100 turbocharged QC4V Mercury Racing engines. Average 103 miles an hour on that lap. DF Young trailing in second.
But look at Monster trying to come up on him.
12 seconds now off the pace. Monster Energy in third.
Pothole Heroes up to fourth.
And DeFalco now back to fifth. Monster Energy is the official energy drink of the APBA Offshore Series and the Race World Offshore Championships. Check out their interactive fan zone right here on the outer mole in the mall area.
DF
Go
Young,
inside
they
and
took that tight.
enjoy some Monster Energy and check out the cool things that Monster Energy Motorsports do.
Here we're looking at JBS going from 1 to 2 in the bumpier water. It's probably not too bumpy for them. It's for a 43-foot MTI. They have a new skater that they're going to put those big 16 power engines in, but they'll probably still be chasing 222 offshore.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the reset of the Class 1 Series. It went dormant for some years, came back to life under the management of P1 Offshore. The U.S. Series has really come alive this year, and DF Young is one of the boats that really came on in the second half of the season, a 50-foot Mystic with Rich Wyatt and Hugh Fuller on board.
And Rich has had a lot of different engines in that boat, but now that he's in Class 1, and it's not just throw giant engines, it's every little nuance to try to get it faster.
Yeah, JBS here, they're running unopposed in the extreme class.
They did run Class 1 last year.
They did, but you had to switch to the official engines, the Mercury QC4V 1100 horsepower engines, and Jeff and Michael running his 16 power 1100 horsepower engine. Jeff Stevens, there's the team Farnsworth Hancock Claims continuing to lead in the VX class. Race winning brands coming through in second.
I think that team's Farnsworth is the old Taboo boat runs good, especially for being in the garage for the last 10 years. But
it's nice that they kept the Taboo name on there, kept the livery kind of in a tribute.
Yeah, changed the scheme a little bit on the paint job, but you know, with those surface drives, it's running really very well.
And here's 222 Offshore, continuing to average right about 102 miles an hour.
And DF Young is passing the Team 25 boat. Still holding second place in Class 1.
Rumor has it that Team 25 Fountain, they have a new boat in the mold for next year.
Monster Energy MCon team. DF Young 16 seconds off of the lead of 222 Offshore.
I'm curious to see what Pothole Heroes is going to have for Monster, because now they've moved over to the inside. They did a lot of running yesterday. I think
losing a little weight on the fuel.
Yep.
But they're all losing weight too, but some boats balance a little different.
As fans maybe new to Class 1, watch the boats. If you see them catch a little air, you'll notice, or you see them in the Rab Beach dry pits, you'll see that they run surface drives with a rudder. You can see the big rudder off the back of the boat.
Yep. And they don't get to have the biggest selection of propellers.
Correct.
But it's easier to change the gear ratios on those surface drives, so that's where they do their fine tuning.
Whereas the Super Cats later today can have unlimited propeller selections, but the gear ratios are set in the number 6 stern drives.
But some of those larger boats, you need one set of propellers, but the gear ratio, to change that gear ratio, they can do it in 5 minutes. It's pretty interesting how they do it. And it saves you a lot of money on different propellers.
Yeah, Mike Falco and Billy Moore have established themselves as a force to be reckoned with next year. That's their outer limits hole. They're moving to a victory hole next year that Billy actually raced here in Key West, the CT Marine.
Oh, they're bringing that boat back?
They are.
That's the one that went over the top of CMS that year.
That is.
Right in front of us.
Absolutely. Right in front of the fans right here. Here's
Number
JBS coming in after lap number 2. So DeFalco with podium finishes here in Key West and ready to rock in 2024 on the Class 1 Series. right, we're watching 222 offshore come back down into the Monster Energy fan zone, marked by the big Monster Energy buoys you see here that the viewing areas here at the Truman Mole and Hotel that are right here on Key West Harbor, including Margaritaville, the Pier House, and Ocean Key House. There's 222 offshore continuing to run strong here today. They backed it off just a smidge. DF Young running in second. We watch race-winning brands come through running in second in V Extreme. There's DF Young. They're in second after lap number 4.
And here's Monster Energy, and there's Pothole Heroes. I think something is developing there.
Yeah, they're definitely coming about.
And DeFalco will approach us and now pass the start-finish line in 5th. 4 laps completed of 14 for Class 1. You watch there. There's the boat. You were talking about Bill Mazzoni's boat.
Oh, that thing looks fast today, don't it?
It definitely does.
Man,
I think it's one of 3 fountains built with Arneson, something like that.
I think so. There
Because
weren't
they
very
had
many.
the 2 over in Europe.
Yes, they did. But the one got sold and came back to the U.S. all taken apart, so we're going to see what happens with that next year.
Back on top, watching the 222 offshore from the X Insurance Helicam. This is a tough run for Rick Lindsay. Eventually, he's going to get dusted by speed.
He's going to get outrun.
As that 222 offshore can get up there, probably approach 130 miles an hour on that outbound leg before settling down to get into the turn. DF Young looking great today.
Yeah, they've really made progress in that boat in one season.
I was talking to Hugh Fuller the other day at dinner, and he said the first race they were down 400 RPMs in one of the motors the entire race, and they had to try to figure that out, and I'm pretty sure they got it fixed.
Yeah, Rich said there was some, it was turbos and temperature that they're still kind of, because the engines, you'll hear us talk a few times about Guardian mode, and Guardian is something that Mercury builds into the engine so that if they get too hot or they don't have enough oil pressure, they go to reduced RPM to save the motor from completely blowing up.
Yeah, tons of things that can go in Guardian. I was talking to Irvin this morning on the Gladiator
450,
boat,
yep.
450. He said they went to Guardian 37 times on Friday.
Thus,
Well, that Full is a very good driver. I will say he's been around a long time, and he races cars besides, and he runs fearless.
Yeah,
he does.
here comes 222 offshore one more time. Darren Nicholson from Australia and Giovanni Carpatello from Italy. Continuing to average right in there at about 102 miles an hour. And now DF Young. In second, we just watched the Hancock Plains team pass by here at our vantage point in first in VX.
And they are stretching it out in VX. That
they
boat
are.
looks good.
Monster Energy.
Still holding third.
Let's see how far back Pothole Heroes is just chasing.
I'll tell you what, that Tyler and Mark have done a great job in that Monster Energy MCOM boat this year. It's their first year in this Class 1 racing.
Yep.
I mean, they dominated in the Super Cat class, but they had a tough start this year with the MCOM boat, and then they just kept pushing and pushing.
Race-winning brands running back in second.
They got a pretty incredible team at that MCON camp over there, and they get that thing in and out of the water. That's a big job to run 2 big boats like that, you know.
Yep.
And to be winning on the podium with both boats. That's great.
Look at JBS.
And to be protecting your sponsor, Monster Energy, they're trying to do a good job with that, and doing a good job all the way around.
Look at that fountain, Peter. That thing is ripping, man.
He's hooked up. There is no doubt about that.
That's those McComas Scorpion engines in there this year.
Yep.
Does Frank do those motors?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Frank did my motors. Did great motors.
Yeah.
No doubt. DF Young.
Is Ed still running Scorpions in the Knucklehead boat now, your old boat?
No, I think he went to the other guy up there.
I'm not sure. Cassie, maybe? Or
No. Been around forever. That's Billy's Motors.
Sterling?
Oh, Sterling Motors. That's right. He did
Sterling,
go to Sterling. Yes, sir.
Oh,
And it's still a rocket.
Mike
Team 25.
D'Annabelle. He's a gem. Built some great engines, Sterling.
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah, Team 25 rolling back through. They continue to hold in at the third. Thanks for coming over from all the way across the pond.
Yeah,
from Great Britain.
after they grenaded a motor on Wednesday,
Boy, they were like a train going through here with all the smoke coming out of that starter
they went
motor.
and leased the Freebird backup motors.
Oh, did they?
And they were what they had to do to get those tractor pipes on there to make it work. Connie Hunt was showing me some pictures, and they're just out there in the beaten down sun and like trying to figure this. And they said they were apologizing for putting their dirty parts on that nice new Bruce Baker Express
Baker.
engine.
Watch, we're gonna watch 222 offshore, I think, come by the Extreme boat here. Got the Extreme JBS on the inside and 222 offshore. There they go, right by them from Class 1 into the Monster Energy fan zone here in Key West Harbor. See ya.
Yeah, I think the word juggernaut applies in this case pretty well for 222 offshore.
Joey, I can't remember in all the years of calling Key West Racing, Peter, you too. I mean, you followed the Class 1 series this year. Monster Energy running in third in Class 1 behind DF Young, who just came through on lap number 6. What a run these guys had. They didn't have to come to Key West. They won their points championship, and they come here and they've led every lap.
They're,
Pretty impressive.
well, it is impressive, but there's nothing like going to the World Championship here in Key West and say, hey, I won the World, you know, and that's that. National doesn't really mean a lot to a lot of guys anymore. It's like you got to be the world champion. You know, they don't ask you how many times you were national champion. They tell you how many times you were world champion.
It's a pretty big deal when the trophy says Key West on it.
Yes.
Yeah, and to win 3 races in 5 days is a huge accomplishment. It's a tremendous amount of work. Joey.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's by far the boat of the class, the talk of the Keys this week, and all the locals. You got to go see this Navy boat. The nice blue Navy boat out there has been definitely the talk around the community.
Well, Peter, what did Stan Lane always say? To be the best,
Yes,
you must
gotta
win
in
Key West.
Yes.
As we watch Mike.
There's a guy we miss, you know.
Yeah, he was a great guy. He became a great announcer. Sure miss him.
Yeah.
Mike Falco and Billy Moore.
Billy Moore,
Yep,
yep.
The Outer Limits Class 1 boat with a beautiful New York Skyline livery. And they're running in 5th. There's the Monster Energy 438 skater built by Peter Ledden of Douglas Marine with the Mercury QC4V engines.
Based out of Performance Boat Center in Lake
That's
of
right.
the Ozarks, Missouri.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the APBA National Series and your Race World Offshore World Championship races here in Key West.
Both those guys going Super Cat racing a little bit. Billy Moore's going Super Cat racing.
Yeah,
A
and
lot of double
he's,
duty here.
But it's nice to see Bill McComb come back out with his boat there. And,
Yep.
you know, that's been sitting in the garage for 10 years, too. And I was over there, stopped in and saw him, and he was asking, you know, he blew a water hose the other day, and I was showing him what on his pickups, what he should really do. And I said, go out, you know, raise them up just a little bit and go out and test it. You know, you need so many pounds of water pressure, no more. And the problem is, first you go, the more water pressure.
That's right.
So we were talking for quite a while, and hopefully he's still running, so I guess he's doing better than the other day.
Yeah, I don't care how many hose clamps you put on sometimes, Peter, that water pressure, it gets
No.
high when you're running 100+ miles an hour out
Yep.
there.
And it's a matter of testing to get the right thing.
DF Young on the inside. Remember, these two boats aren't in the same class. Boy, he's got traffic to deal with here. He's going to lose some time on 222. He's got the Team 25
Look
boat
at
to the
Pothole.
inside.
Pothole is right there.
Pothole.
Everybody's going to get held up here, and don't be mistaken.
Yeah,
Johnny Tomlinson is looking at that, and he's going to try and position himself out of that turn. This is happening off camera right now. It's happening right in Key West Harbor. There's traffic in front of DF Young, two boats, a VX boat and the Extreme hull, and we'll see how they shake out of the turn.
Just want to get everyone through clean. But, yeah.
Looks like MCon coming on the outside there of DF Young, isn't it?
It does.
Yep.
Yep, this would be who?
No, that's
get out on that?
JBS. That's JBS.
Oh, JBS, I'm sorry. JBS. MCon just right behind him.
DF Young should dispose of JBS here.
So he's the second time JBS has been passed by a Class 1 boat. He may be passed by the entire fleet here on this lap. MCon still holds on to third. Pothole Heroes in fourth. No one gained an advantage there. And right at the stern of Pothole Heroes is DeFalco.
And your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. Well, Pothole Heroes is blue on one side and red on the other.
A brilliant livery for Pothole Heroes as you watch Rich Wyatt and Hugh Fuller. Great season for them in Class 1. They like to cap it with a big podium finish in Key West with a 3-day World Championship.
That JBS boat is super fast with those 16 engines in there, and don't count him out. He's just not racing these Class 1 guys today. He's by himself. So, but it will run those speeds with those motors in there. That's a really fast MTI.
It's really hard to gauge how much choppier it might have gotten. These boats span the waves so well, and they have so much power. But you can see here, this is where they're catching a little bit of air, and you can see those. You can see the rudder.
Yep.
And the surface drives very well if they catch one of those little holes and come off of it and get just a little bit out of the water.
Reminiscent of when Miss Geico stood straight up
with the helicopter
a
right
few
above
years
it.
ago.
That was awesome shot.
Yep.
Scary ride, awesome shot.
222 offshore. This is lap number 8 of 14.
Yep.
And there they are.
Yeah, while he's got the podium number 1 locked up, that rest of the race, between DeFalco, Monster, and DF Young is going to be real interesting, because if any of those make a move on each other the rest of the way here, it's really going to jumble it up. They all have a chance to be on the podium in second, third, however it plays out here.
Looks like the Team 25 fountain pulled in the middle of the course. So
Monster Energy, Tyler Miller and Myrick Coyle in third behind DF Young. Pothole Heroes in fourth, DeFalco in fifth. 6 laps to go. JBS running unopposed.
We can go ahead and call that one the world champion right now.
That's right.
I'll go out on the limb right now and do that.
He's going to go ahead and finish his laps and be the world champion.
You're
Michael's got a pretty nasty bruise from that wreck.
Anybody want to take that bet against me?
No, I'm good. The odds are in your favor.
Want to remind everyone out there, race control is having trouble with people cutting in with chatter on race control channels. So please, if you have a voice-activated mic, please cut your mics. If you're going to listen, that's one thing, but you're causing problems here with safety and monitoring what's happening on the race. Please cut your mics. No chatter on race control channels, please. All right, there's Team 25 down in the center of the course.
They're under tow. They have a rope on them.
Cheers to
James Lockyer.
Yep.
For making the trip.
That's right, from Southampton, UK. Team Farnsworth.
Now that they know that other boat's down and they know where the Waste Running Brands is, they're just going to make some laps and make sure their spotters keep them in the front of the race here.
At this point, with Team 25 going down, Farnsworth cannot finish off the top of the podium. They are going to pretty much be there.
He's just going to make the rest of these laps.
The world champion.
They're going to be the world champs with one of the 2 teams going down in that VX or XV class.
Yeah,
that pretty much opens the door for Farnsworth after 2 first-place finishes.
Talk about someone jumping into racing.
Wynn Farnsworth.
Wynn and Sarah have jumped into it feet first.
Yep.
Hancock Claims has jumped into it feet first, running the V Extreme. They have the Class 549 boat out there. They have the, it's not here, but they have it. Then I know they have the Super Cat. They bought the Broadco boat there. You're going to see some big things come out of that camp too. Wynn and Sarah, amazing people, and they're doing a really good job. And their sponsor is full force behind them. And so we're super happy to have them here as well.
Race fans,
speaking of an amazing year.
Enjoy this for 5 more times. It'll be the last time you'll see him here in Key West. 222 offshore.
Did you hear that pop?
I did.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's probably running right on the rev limiter there. So.
Yeah.
So DF Young.
But it looks to me like Myrick and Tyler are trying to make a run here at second place in the Monster Energy boat.
Yeah,
they are not driven up.
Yeah, Monster Energy is bringing it from behind in third. Pothole Heroes continues to chase in the same position, bringing it to Monster Energy.
The Falco's right on them now, too.
Yeah, all 5 of your Class 1 boats.
The backside of that podium is going to be fun here. There's
traffic,
the battle.
Yeah, that traffic in those turns will change it up pretty quickly.
Can we get a look? And again, a little bit more of a swell there as the tide continues to run out pretty strong until about 2:30 here today. doesn't appear that wind has materialized as forecast yet, but it is still expected to be at 15 to 17 at some point today.
Now let's see what
at this
Pothole
harbor
Heroes
run.
does with
Falco's right on the inside of Pothole
DeFalco's
Heroes out
right
there.
outside of Pothole Heroes. So
It's
let's
almost
see how
one
these.
rooster tail.
We got a nice drag race shaping up here.
Yeah, Carlos de Quesada and Johnny Tomlinson in Pothole Heroes. They have been snake bit most of the year.
Monster's rooster is already laid down. You don't even see it in front of Potholes. So
That's
let's
the
see.
boat, Pothole Heroes, that won the Class 1 race here in Key West last year. 222 offshore. Big tip of the cap going to the entire crew. You get down there and meet the entire crew at 222 offshore, and gives you some indication of how they did it. They're a close-knit group, and everybody on board, the team players all the way. You can't underestimate the influence of Peter Muddy McGrath, who is part of the technical team there, and his input with Giovanni Carpatella, both world-class racers, making this team the best in the world.
I take it back, Peter. I don't think they've let off at all in that boat.
No, not at all.
Hancock
You know what? They bought it this past year. They're having a good old time. Well, what can I tell you?
Hancock claims.
They got nothing to lose at this
Farnsworth,
point.
Nope.
What's that?
They got nothing to lose there in that Hancock.
Yeah,
No.
leading all the way as we look
But
back.
Monster is around DF Young for second
They got
place.
It does appear, but they are on the outside. Let's
Right.
see how that
Let's-
shapes up as they head into turn number
And
2.
look at Pothole
Myrick's-
Heroes just came around. DF.
Myrick on that wheel, he'll cut that turn and solidify that spot.
We'll look back after triple 2 comes through. They're averaging a little under 100 miles an hour. They've pulled off a little bit, and now the fight
Now
for
let's see
second.
the battle here, yeah.
Monster Energy, 438 skater, Tyler Miller, Myrick Coyle, battling side by side with DF Young. It appears they've edged forward into second. DF Young,
Oh, they're on the outside. Pothole's got around them too.
hey, DF Young's got a problem, ladies and
without
gentlemen.
doubt he's got a
Yeah,
problem.
because Pothole Heroes is now up to third and DeFalco's fourth.
Monster Energy now in second.
If I'm going to guess on the DeFalco, they're pulling in right now, and I would
DF
guess that
Young.
water pressure got them again. They've been blowing a hose off all year long in that boat, trying to fight that water pressure issue in there.
Yep.
DeFalco
You know.
moves to the center of
That's
the
DF
field.
Young.
I'm sorry, DF
Young.
Young moves to the center of the field. And
Yeah, he's jumping out. I bet he's going to make sure they're not dumping water in that boat right now.
Yep.
Or if it's still on, they'll now jump back in the race and start making some more laps.
Yeah, it changes a lot there, though.
Yeah.
Or on fire. You never know when you lose a hose or something like that. You know, the thing overheats.
Rich Wyatt taking a look inside.
Now there's no concern with him having his helmet off.
You know you're supposed to keep it on.
Well, sometimes, you know, it's attached and
Yeah, all
Yeah,
that. It depends on what he's got in there. Yeah. I had to jump out in the spectator fleet one year, Chad and I on the Levy craft. The steering belt came off, and we lost steering coming out of the harbor turn, and we ended up just floating out in there because it wouldn't turn at all. And Chad jumped out and said, yeah, the belt's off. So I grabbed the tools. I had them with us in the boat because we'd had the problem in the practice day. And I put the belt back on and we jumped back in the race and ended up getting second place that year.
Now make this interesting here. If Pothole Heroes can overcome Monster there and move into second, they'll find their way onto the podium with this DF Young breakdown right all of a sudden.
Yeah, a tough break for Rich Wyatt and Hugh Fuller. A fantastic season on the second half of it. A dominant win in the Midwest Challenge.
Well, let's see if they
to
get
end
back
the
going
season
again.
before heading to the season ender for the Class 1 World Championship. And they're not out, and see if Rich was able to get anything accomplished there. But still, they were running well in second up until coming in here to the harbor.
And here's Pothole Heroes on camera, but right in their rooster tail, you just don't see them. DeFalco was right there.
Oh, they've been
Let's
stalking
see.
them all morning long.
That side exhaust, Peter Meyer, just like
Yeah.
that Instigator boat.
yeah, mine was a little different, up a little further, so it was a little louder.
Yeah.
Continuing to average 98 miles per lap now. 222 offshore as they coast in first. You watch that sweet lady go by one more time. 222 offshore.
Ed and Anthony don't lay off of that boat. They still run it
No.
just like you guys did. It's
And
still the
here's-
baddest V in the sea as far as I'm
No
concerned.
doubt, no doubt about
Monster
it.
in second.
Monster in
But
second.
Pothole is up to third.
in third still.
Yep. And here's DeFalco in fourth. Will come right into your screen. There we.
It appears DF Young's under power, but it looks like that engine hatch is still popped. I don't think they're going to make it back into the race. Yeah. I was hoping they'd get back in.
Good look at the JBS team, excuse me, that's out as they head out onto the chop towards turn number 2.
That signature MTI deck line.
Again.
And here's the victory.
She sails in the lead. The sweet lady of 222 Offshore Australian Navy.
What a boat.
And if you look at Darren, speaking of sailing, you look at Darren Nicholson's bio, and there's a photo of him growing up sailing.
Right.
He used to be a competitive sailboat racer, so.
How many laps we got left? 2.5?
They're out on,
They're on
2.5
right
correct.
now, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5.
Well, sailboat races aren't going to go over well down here.
No, but
Not
you learn strategy, you learn aerodynamics, you learn.
You do, and you learn how to really cut the other guy off at the right time.
Well, when Mike Fiore bought Outer Limits,
Right.
it was an old sailboat manufacturing company, and they said, "Oh, the sailboat racers are just as cheat. They cheat just as much as the powerboat guys."
I think they cheat more.
Well, that's why you need strong governance. APBA UIM, we welcome them. I mean, set up a structured racing environment, and everybody is
Hopefully doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
222 still.
DF Young taking on water. We're getting that report from
okay.
race control, and you
Who
can.
is?
Yep,
DF Young just got back up on plane, probably
Yeah,
just to try to get in.
they're going to try and get in and.
I bet if they're taking water, they're going to cross and get to the crane and get that thing out of the water as fast as possible to keep that salt water from getting too deep in there and messing it up, you know.
I want to remind everyone, race control has told us they've been hearing a lot of chatter on comms, race control comms, so please do not have your automatic mics on. Do not talk on race control channels, please. 222 Offshore, Australian Navy, just 2 laps left to go to cap off a remarkable season. The MCON team, their Monster Energy Class 1.
Debut has gone
438
amazingly
skater.
well.
Wow,
Yeah, great job,
they
guys.
talk about having a great second half to the season. The Monster Energy Class 1 team in second. And Pothole Heroes in third.
When you're getting around boats and changing position in competition like this, that's impressive.
And DeFalco in fourth.
Currently, DeFalco's a huge fan of MCON because right now he's on the podium as long as MCON can keep Pothole Heroes in front, behind him.
Keep them at bay.
Yep, so DeFalco's kind of rooted on MCON right now.
Then it'll be curious to see if Johnny's got another ace up his sleeve to get around Monster.
There goes DF Young getting it over to the crane so they can get that thing to safety.
You don't want that thing sinking.
No, all that salt water just eats everything up. Get it out as fast as you can.
It would give Herbie something to do.
And here's race-winning Brands.
So the real race here,
The
ladies
skater.
and gentlemen, is in Class 2, second place, Monster Energy and Pothole Heroes. Carlos De Quesada, Johnny Tomlinson, 9 seconds behind the Monster Energy 438 skater with Myrick Coyle and Tyler Miller.
That's not a very far gap between Pothole Heroes and DeFalco right now.
No.
No, it's about the same by the looks of it.
Pothole Heroes look like they dropped back a little bit, though.
Yep. Well, Skaters turning a 438. Pothole Heroes is turning a 49 in the harbor.
Oh, are they?
Well, no, I mean, it's the length of the boat.
Oh, yeah, the big boat, yeah.
So if it's not that rough,
No.
Johnny's not going to have the advantage he was hoping for.
We'll have intermission here in between this
Here's
race.
JBS.
Harbor's closed from 11:30 to 12:30, and we'll come back with racing immediately after with the stock 450R class.
I'm hoping we see that new JBS skater next year if they get it done and get it put together in time.
Just 2 more passes in front of the fans in the Monster Energy fan zone here at the Outer Mulder Truman Annex in front of the Harbor Hotels. This is 222 Offshore. They are prepared to cap a UIM Class 1 Points World Championship this season with another World Championship here at the Race World Offshore 3-day World Championship races in Key West, Florida. It's the first time Giovanni Carpatella and Darren Nicholson have raced here in Key West. and all they've done is lead every lap.
That's astounding.
They sound smooth.
Every lap,
Oh,
all
yeah.
3 days, correct?
Well, the very first start, MCon took out, and then they had the red
Oh, they
flag
sure
on the,
did.
on the ex-insurance slip. And then after that, he's led every other bit of the way.
Yeah,
They were 8 seconds behind MCon's Monster Energy team just through, down a second to Pothole Heroes. They've moved up 1 second here with 1 lap to go.
They're
DeFalco.
not going to do it.
DeFalco rooting on Monster Energy's Class 1 team. And what a story that would be for Mike Falco and Billy Moore, who got their first podium in Class 1 here in Key West, to end up on the podium for the biggest race in the world, the Key West World Championships here in Class 1.
They're in position right now.
Peter, I mean, talk about how hard it is to win this thing. 3 days.
It is hard, and you know you're always worrying about what the other guy is doing, and somebody's in the background counting points. It's like forget about the points. You know, we need just to finish, and you would know better than anybody to watch it every year.
Yeah, if the points don't, if you don't finish the race, the points don't really matter, do they, Peter?
No, they don't.
What an amazing year for 222 Offshore in the UIM Class 1 World Series. Race-winning brands continuing to run well, but not as well as Team Farnsworth Hancock Claims in the VX Extreme V-Bottom class. Great season for them as well.
It is good to know Sunday going in what position you're in, you know, 'cause
Yeah,
it's kind of the
that,
day.
that's when you're sitting there figuring it out. But I
Yeah.
mean,
Seeing DF Young heading to the crane to get out after taking on water and exiting the race after lap number 8, running second all day long. We'll be looking for 222 Offshore to head back into the Monster Energy fan zone for the final time to take the checkered flag for their Class 1 World Championship here in Key West.
Peter, when did you first race here?
83 or 80. I started in 82, but I think I came down to 83, 84.
And here they come, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Class 1 World Champion, and now your Key West Class 1 World Champion. 222 Offshore, Australian Navy. Darren Nicholson, Giovanni Carpatella cap an amazing season. And finishing in second will be the Monster Energy 438 skater. Myrick Coyle and Tyler Miller will take second to the podium in the World Championships.
Very nicely done.
Yep, absolutely. What a day for those guys. Good job,
Pothole
guys.
Heroes.
Will take third and finishing fourth today and onto the podium for the World Championships in Class 1, Mike Falco.
Billy Moore.
Billy Moore in the outer limits, DeFalco. Salute.
So, Joey, do we have MCon on the podium?
MCon is
second?
number 2 on the podium, yep.
Okay.
And then third is actually DeFalco, slides in there. 14 points above DF Young and 17 points ahead of Pothole Heroes there.
So we're just going to keep the V-bottoms running to complete their laps.
We may, I mean.
I might be off a lap
there's-
for them.
Yeah, I have one more lap for the Vs.
They're holding the flag because the harbor under contract has to be closed at 11:30. I think now that the Class 1 boats come, when each one of the other boats come around, it's going to be an official finish.
But if you want to talk about dedication to the sport, how long has the guy throttling JBS been doing this?
Mike Stancomb.
Holy cow. He's
How
been
many
doing this
different-
since he was a kid, and
Yeah.
then, different teams. He ran our boats for 2 years, you know,
Yep.
in our Class 5 boat, him and JJ Turk.
Absolutely.
Great guy to have on our team.
Now that, and here comes the Hancock Claims
Race
boat.
with the Historic Peppers team and Super
Yep.
Cat Light. Here comes your winner in the VX class, your V-Bottom Extreme. It's Hancock Claims Team Farnsworth. They'll win the World Championship here in Key West for 2024. Finishing in second. Nice run this year. I think we're going to see a lot more out of this boat next season. Race-winning brands.
Looks like that water's pretty much the same as whole race out there. It's a little bumpy, but I didn't see it change much out there. It looks like it's a little rougher coming into turn 2, coming down towards the harbor.
Not going to feel
Well,
it.
right there, that JBS boat's bouncing around a little bit. That's that hole out there. It's always there in the
Not
water.
going to feel a need to cinch up that back brace when you go out in your little 29-footer.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I was sitting over the whole time thinking, do we want Jesse and Brad to race, or me and Chad to get in there? We all did our physicals this morning, so we can rock, scissors, paper who's going to race.
Race-winning brand, second today in the World Championship.
Good return to the sport for Bill McComb. Good to see him back out.
And JBS will wrap up their win today in Extreme unopposed in the Unlimited class.
Looks like Hancock's going to make their last lap.
Yeah.
JBS pulled in.
They had the checker flag up. I'm pretty sure race control is going to ask them to.
Well, and here's why, too. If they pulled in right now and Waste-Winning Brands finished their laps, then they would actually pass them. They'd be a lap down. So unless race control officially makes the call to finish the race on that pass there. So,
I mean, they did have the checkered flag up as they went across.
Well, when you're in a racer in that boat,
Oh,
you want to make sure that you finish.
You're not listening and looking at anything.
Yeah. I got tape on my dash. I still got laps left.
One name for you, Peter, Kurt Russell.
But he brought a lot of fame, without Copeland and stuff like that.
He also missed a lap count and cost them one race, I think, right?
Yes, he did.
You're listening to live coverage here in Key West on the home of powerboat racing year-round. We follow it for you right here on the Zone each week. 97.7 Sports Radio from the Porte Performance broadcast booth. Porte Performance has built the most advanced cockpit control hydraulic transom lift system in the world at Porte Performance. We build performance into everything. Getting ready for 222 Offshore to take their checkered flag for the final time. Here, you're listening to.
And as a journalist, you love going up to talk to Giovanni because you never know what you're going to get.
You got to remember, Kurt Russell was hoping to get off the boat and hit the Goldie Horn.
Well, Don had Melanie at the time, too.
Well,
Yeah, I was around for some of that. It was pretty cool stuff. Kurt Russell was the coolest celebrity you could ever imagine.
He didn't bother anybody.
Or he'd come up to you and ask you, did you see the score of the Lakers game? And you turn around, it's Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
He talked to anybody down on the docks, and it made you feel good as if you were as a staff member out there when he ran there in 91. Hancock claims, well, they took a victory lap, I think, for all intents and purposes.
Yep.
I say it's okay. Winner and world champion in the VX Extreme team.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, Kurt Russell and all this other stuff. I'm a little bit too young for that.
Yeah, I know.
You said you started racing in 84. We started racing here 34 years after that in 2018.
82 was the first one.
Yeah, 82. Nice.
Our live stream brought to you by Maximum Inflation, the presenting live stream sponsor. Maximum Inflation brand CO2 cartridges, gas for everything inflatable. Since 1965, Leland Gas Technologies has made CO cartridges that inflate the life jackets used daily by fighter pilots, NASA astronauts, naval seamen, the U.S. Coast Guard, and offshore powerboat racers worldwide. They all rely on Maximum Inflation. Its reliability is there when it's needed the most. Recreational boaters go to West Marine, Cabela's, and Bass Pro stores to rearm their life jackets with Maximum Inflation brand rearming kits designed for your model life jacket and approved by Underwriters Laboratories, U.S. Coast Guard.
And there's the
more.
presentation of the checkered flag, 2222 offshore Australia.
Hey, Todd, I'm going to get out of here for the day and let you guys have this. And I want to thank my wife for letting me sit here and do this with you guys for the
Billy,
day.
we thank you so much for coming. And as always, you do a fantastic job, provide tremendous insight. We'll be rooting for you later on today in the Levy Craft Team Woody in the bracket classes.
Sounds good. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your stay here in Key West.
Keep it upright.
I'm going to be heading out, too. I want to thank everybody from APBA. I want to thank all you other announcers, and I want to thank Larry and everybody from Key West. You guys all do a great job.
Peter Meyer, a legend from the Instigator team, many others.
Fever.
Yep, no doubt. Peter Meyer, thank you very much, sir. Good to see
Thank you.
And there is your world champions, 222 offshore, just going off camera as we look in to the X Insurance Helicam. That's